Welcome back to the Esports Central podcast. This is our second episode of season 2, and we're joined by the greatest guests ever, the guys from the gents from Ekasi Esports, Perfect and Gabriel. Gabriel, you must be a special guest because you're making it yet to the podcast for the second time, both season 1 and season 2. You yeah.
I really feel special. I don't do many of these like conversation most around esports, but whenever esports central call, I'm like, yeah, I've been waiting for that call. So yeah, man, I'm glad to be here.
Yes, happy to have you. Perfect joining us for the first time as well. You excited, man?
Yeah, most if first time for everything. So yeah, hope it's gonna be a great conversation and talk about stuff.
Yeah. Gabriel, you better hope Perfect's not too cool because maybe he'll be in the next one and you'll be chilling. I'm kidding.
Or some competition. Yeah, some competition. I'm just saying. What you want to be like again? Third time. Why not? Yeah.
If you did make it for the third time, you'd be the only 3-time guest over the course of the Esports Central podcast, Gabriel. That's a special category right there.
2021 is coming.
We'll be like the Esports Saturday Night Live. People must put it in their memoirs. I was here so many times. But no, I'm so glad you guys joined me again. Obviously, from now till the last time, our first podcast we did together, Gabriel, in end of July 2019, it's been a world of difference. I mean, literally, the world is a completely different place from then to now. We've also grown as myself as a talent, you guys from Ekasi, a very different situation now. With the current situation in 2020 where, I mean, Corona happened, all these things have been happening. I mean, it's been a disaster state really this year. But how did you guys from Ekasi Esports adjust to the year we've had so far?
Thanks, Kaameel. To be honest, it has not been that easy. I think the whole world just got to be affected by the situation that we in, because we're not yet out of that situation. So it has not been easy, but as any company, brand, organization, you need to have, and I kind of learned this recently, like a change management strategy, So fortunately for us, we kind of had that in place. So as soon as there were lockdowns and all of that, we had to go back to a drawing board and literally scrap all the plans that we pretty much had for this year. So but we also have great partners,
Right.
who got our back from day one. So I mean, we actually had, well, let me just say this: we actually didn't even have to convince them to continue part of our organization, but because they believe in us and the relationship that we've been having with them for the past year or two, it has been incredible. So that actually also gave us confidence to say, you know what, let's continue doing this. Let's continue to go back to a drawing board. Work on an effective plan, and here we are. Here we are. So yeah.
Yes, I'm glad you guys are still around. Very necessary for the scene. And I like the point you bring up. I mean, every single company, every single individual in this world has been affected by the current state of 2020 with this pandemic going on and such. But Perfect, I'd like to hear from you on a practical sense. What are the stuff Ekasi Esports has been doing in the downtime? I mean, a lot of the esports organizations had to change their plans. I mean, TechFest is such a big part of what you guys were doing and stuff before. But now it's not like you guys have been doing nothing. I've been following the things you're doing. So you can tell the viewers what Ekasi Esports has been up to in the year of 2020.
Yeah. Shout out. So yeah, like Gab said, we had to scrap a lot of plans that we had planned for 2020. But we had to come in clutch and work on find new strategies and find new plans to keep the organization running, to keep active. So we decided to take a whole new approach. We had a lot of plans because like we're very community level. We like being on the ground, interacting with the people. And we couldn't really do that, especially with the entire COVID situation. So we had to focus on something like reaching out to our fans and followers on social media, engaging with the audience, like online, using the online resources. So the plan was just like create more content, find ways to interact with the users, and followers and everything. That's how like the FIFA tournament came to fruition. Because we thought that if you can't have a tournament, on the ground, then let's have it in the cloud. And then,
Right.
Yeah.
So that FIFA tournament, I'm so glad you brought it up, right? Because I mean, we were talking about it before it even started running the FIFA event, right? Perfect. And then when it started, one day I think I was just on Twitter or something. I saw you guys are having a match on it. You guys just made the post. I was like, come, let me go check out the live stream. And I went there and I checked it out, and I was super blown away. And I just want to tell you guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but y'all are only the second people ever in South African esports. And if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me, Twitter fan base or whatever. But y'all are the second people only to do an online FIFA tournament, do a proper broadcast for an online FIFA tournament after Nodwin Gaming, who also decided to do that this year. So congrats to you guys for that. And phenomenal FIFA tournament. I mean, I've been working for Nodwin for their FIFA tournament. I have to say there was a lot of parallels what you guys are doing to what we were doing. And it was just a great run event. I mean, you guys had a panel, you guys were transitioning to casters, your graphics, everything. Like, it was great. It was honestly great. So, Gabe, how did you feel about what you guys accomplished doing this Ekasi Esports FIFA tournament?
Yeah, Ekasi Tech Fest, man. We actually missed this year, but yeah,
Yes.
it gave us the opportunity to brainstorm and come up with the FIFA Invitationals, and kudos to Perfect and basically the team that is on the background, working on the graphics, working on the production, making sure that everything that goes out is on point, And for us, really, again, thanks for the Congress that's giving us, being the second only organization, esports tournament to do,
Online FIFA.
Online FIFA and just broadcast it. Because see, the most important thing for us was really in terms of how do we continue engaging with our audience, right? And I mean, we could have gone through the route of probably doing PUBG Mobile because already there's an audience there. But when it comes to FIFA and engagement with our audience, which is pretty much mostly gamers from the townships, and we still wanted to continue having that kind of like engagement. So the FIFA Invitational gave us that opportunity, and having the casters at the studio, having the analysts, importantly so, them doing the commentary and the analysis in their own language, guys doing Zulu and all of that. And for us, that has been an incredible experience. I wouldn't say yet that we have achieved what we basically building towards in terms just around the FIFA thing. We're still having the final this weekend, so it's still, still like 70% the way we want it. But so far, man, it has been great. As I said, the maestro here has been doing the the work, putting the magic. So yeah, it has been a great experience thus far. And also, I mean, kudos to yourself, kudos to the other guys in the industry that we actually reach out to them and say, yo, we need some guidance from this and theirs, and they came through, you came through, so that we appreciate it as well, because that shows you that overall to really get to achieve in any endeavor in life is a community around it, you know. So for us to reach out to the community that we feel that we are part of, and they actually come through for us, I think that is important as well, to shout out to everyone, you know, that has been we got your back. So yeah, man.
That's great.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I can go into detail with that.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, Kaameel, it's not been easy.
Mm.
If you look at the first stream and the current stream, there's a huge difference. Because obviously it's online and everything, and there's like a swarm of technical issues and everything. But it's just for us, it's like a learning progress. We want everything that goes out to be perfect. No pun intended. But we for us, what matters the most is implementing and doing it, and we'll just work on the mistakes and just like build from what we have at the moment. So yeah, like Gab said, we are far from what we want to achieve, but we are happy with the progress so far. So we're striving to get better and better and better. But and also on the being the second guys, I'm not sure about that, but also shout out for that.
I'm
Yeah.
95% sure. Like, I could be wrong. I've been wrong about many things before, but I'm 95. Online, like this is okay. Like because your point about it being difficult, I want to respond to that. The reason why I'm commending them for doing this and not doing it as well is because like streaming online FIFA is a fucking horrible process. There is no spectating features or whatever in FIFA. EA don't give a shit about the community on that regard. So to be able to stream the game, you have to go through hoops after hoops after hoops. So credit, like you say, the broadcast was a struggle and stuff, but you guys are literally doing the hardest game. I mean, honestly, to stream FIFA, it's a nightmare. But I think another thing I want to ask you guys about this FIFA streaming is that when I look at FIFA streams, right, we don't really have a culture of like watching streams. I think another example somebody was talking to me about, I don't know if you guys know Clint from Vinco in Cape Town. He has a Call of Duty group of like 1,000 people in a WhatsApp group. But like when Call of Duty streams and stuff go online, there's only like 20 to 30 to 40 people who are watching it. And it's a case of like that game doesn't have a lot of going to stream and watching culture really. And I think that game's been being played in South Africa for so long in terms of as in quote unquote esport. But FIFA, we don't know if we are like that yet, or it's just we haven't broke the market yet because there's never been these online games being streamed all the time. So it's a market where you're capturing a new audience in terms of like your general esports demographic, and it's a market they still need to build. So I think from a brand's point of view, I don't know when you're talking to guys sponsors and stuff, is it like a cool game to sell in that regard? Because again, you're getting this brand new demographic coming through, and I think numbers wise, you guys actually did very well for your first stream, basically. Because again, there's no watching culture behind FIFA. Remember that. So I'm not trying to be nice or like flattery and shit. Genuinely, KC was impressed. Behind closed doors, I'll tell you guys the same thing. It was good shit.
Means a lot. Yeah, so are you gonna take the question?
You can take it.
Oh, I can take it. But yeah. So with FIFA, because like I said, when we were talking about this year and reworking the plans, we had a lot of games, that we could have like ran a tournament on, but then FIFA just stood out. We tried to avoid FIFA because of the trouble of this broadcasting and the streaming, but we kind of saw that FIFA is in terms of viewership and also the viewer experience, it's much easier for people who are not familiar to the gaming scene to jump on because it's soccer fundamentally, and there's not much to understand. There's no, oh, I have to understand it's a terrorist side, or I have to understand it's a battle and all that. So the viewer experience is great. It's soccer. You see everything that happens. So we wanted something simple, something that people can jump on, something that people outside of gaming can jump on. Because as Ekasi Esports, we don't just strive to focus on the current esports scene, but we want to be inclusive, like bringing people who aren't into gaming but can be entertained by it. So we want to get people to watch, and we kind of looking at this FIFA tournament as like a pilot of some sort, if I can use that word, just to see how things go, just to see the response from the people and what they think about it. And so far, it's been a positive response from the people. People are enjoying it. The numbers are good. But yeah, like there's always like room for improvement. But yeah, FIFA is a difficult game to work with. But in terms of getting people to watch and getting people to interact and engage with it, it's almost like a no-brainer. But you have other games like your fighting games and stuff. But FIFA is just like it's soccer, man. And in South Africa, people love their sports, soccer, rugby, and stuff. So what better game than FIFA?
For sure. And it's so funny. Like FIFA's the most hilarious game because also every year, like the player base, the fan base, everybody's like, yeah, the last FIFA was shit. EA just wants our money. Screw FIFA. We hate FIFA. I'm never buying the next game. Pre-order always there. First day, people are buying the Ultimate Team. People are there. Like it's a game where even if we want to stop playing, nobody can stop. Like it's so ingrained on our brains in like South Africa and even globally, FIFA sales are huge. Is that if you want to play football, which is the most popular sport in the world, we play FIFA. So there's always going to be that market there. So glad you guys tapping into that market. I also want to ask you guys now in terms of the broadcasting of this. Like Gabe, you mentioned, you guys had an African commentary duo, African panelists and stuff, speaking in local languages. What language was it? Sorry, I was ignorant. I couldn't pick up from the broadcast alone.
Oh yeah, it was Zulu mostly, but the guy kind of like so it's Zulu and Sutu.
And Zulu to English. It's more like that Kasi, because we have Kasi Tao, Kasi language. So it's just like a mixture of languages where you have your English. So the guys will mention the important points in English, to be inclusive, and then they'll put in the Zulu, the Tswana, the Sutu, it's just a mixed masala of languages, and that's how we communicate in South Africa, man. We don't have one path. We bounce off languages. It's 11 official languages, so we gotta utilize them all. Maybe very soon we'll bring in other languages.
I mean, last year when we were doing the Tech Fest tournament, we had casters also for FIFA, and the guy was commenting in vendor.
Yeah.
So kind of bringing different
flavor to it.
Yeah, flavor to it.
It has that little
Yeah.
That little MSG, MSG.
It makes sense. You guys say it's like that mixed masala, the way they speak in the casting. Because when I was listening, right, because there was obviously a lot of English mix in, but now that you're mentioning the Zulu and the Sutu mix as well, because I was there. Obviously, I don't speak Zulu or Sutu because I'm useless, but I could sit there and I could enjoy the broadcast because it was so entertaining. You guys had flair. There's the English here and there. I was like, I couldn't stop watching when I was there. So, like, just again, props all around. Super great. FIFA, we need to do more of. And again, I think like more innovation needs to be done in FIFA because again, we don't know the best and most optimal way to play, like to do these tournaments and stuff for the game. Because even like now, for like Nodwan and your guys' league, the players were saying they've never actually done a long form league in FIFA before. It's like so different. Well, not that I mean, VS Gaming actually has done online as well, but like doing leagues is different because you have time now, because usually FIFA, you get there, you play like 10 hours on Saturday, play 5 hours on Sunday, and then the tournament is done. Now it's time where they can look and see how the games are and such. We see a lot of FIFA players sometimes don't show up for their matches, so the mentality of the professionalism completely isn't there with FIFA yet. So yeah, we're getting there, we're making those strides. In future, you guys think you'll be adding some fighting game dimensions to your tournament list?
I don't want to reveal too much, but
I see.
Like, let me just say, we want to drive inclusiveness. We want to get like as many people following. It's all about entertainment. For us, it's about entertainment and competing. Because at the end of the day, if you entertain people, you like. I guess, that's the goal.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
And the fighting games is the same like FIFA, like you were saying, like anybody can watch. Somebody getting smacked in the face, understandable in all ways, in all languages, etc. I mean,
they don't care about the technicalities and whatever. It's just like, oh, someone is punching someone, the round is over because the other person died. Plain and simple. There's no like, there's no like destroying turrets or all that. It's just straightforward. Easy to understand. Yeah. Even if you're not a big fan of gaming or anything, you just watch it and you know what's happening.
For sure.
The viewer experience is just like 100s.
Okay, so I wanna switch gears here. As you guys know, I'm a very controversial figure. Gabriel's already laughing there. So I wanna ask you now, guys, some hard questions. All right. So I wanna ask you guys. So if I look at this, the perspective of Ekasi Esports now, and again, I think you guys' image over 3 years, the way it's changed and how you guys have grown is really impressive. But do you think there's like a level of, I don't know if disrespect is the right word, but like you don't get that same kind of response that the middle states or the VSs or what's etc. get when you guys do things? Do you think there's like a bias here, so to speak, in the industry? Do you think, or am I just perceiving something that's wrong? If I'm asking too spicy of a question, you guys can dial it back. We can cut it out. But I would like to hear some thoughts there.
In terms of the response,
Yeah.
like
I mean, I can ask two parts of this because I think there's some things, and I told this to like Nick and Clint from ACGL as well. They don't, even though they do so many things, I don't think they market their things as best as possible. So despite them doing 10 tournaments, if Metal State does one, that one Metal State tournament will get spoken about more because they are better at marketing. So it's not a case of me trying to be funny. Also, so on your guys' end, where do you think you guys also fall off in terms of how you guys maybe market your tournament, or like, like, is there like a 50-50 where you guys need to meet this, or why do you think maybe Ekasi Esports would get spoken about less than, let's say, ACGL, for example?
I guess for us, we just have to up our game in our marketing. We don't really think it's more like bias or anything. We just, like, on our side, we just have to do better in marketing. I guess we're very technical, if I can use that word. Yeah, we're very technical. We just want to make sure it works and it's out there, and like as long as it works, we're happy. We haven't really been focusing on the marketing aspect of it, especially when it comes to the FIFA tournament. We could have done so much more
Yes.
in terms of marketing. So for us, we don't really like fall on that. Oh, they just like them better. No. For us,
Yes.
it's more like, no, we could do better. We just have to up our game, and then we'll get those. We get the numbers. If we up our game. Yeah. So you just try to run away from excuses and all.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because
Man,
go
it's
for escape. Go for escape. Go for escape.
just to be the underdog, to be honest. I think even more so the evolution of the brand, in the past 3 years, the way we got into the industry and the way we are now. So there's that disparity in terms of the perception that most of the individuals in the industry have when it comes to our organization or overall. But as I say, it feels great to be an underdog, and we're loving it. And maybe also just to add on there that for us also it's not about the likes and the retweet. We know why we're doing what we're doing, and it's beyond social media. We're doing that. We're going for an impact. An impact in our own community. Just give you a quick story. So 2 weeks ago on a Sunday, so I was taking my normal evening / afternoon walk, and I meet this young boy. He just highlight me. It's like, yo, Ekasi Esports, because see, I'm always wearing my red hoodie, and it's like, yo, Ekasi Esports. Yo, guys, I'm following you on social media. I see what you guys are doing. I'm loving what you're doing. Now, mind you, the boy is like 13, 14. And it's like, my whole life. I'm like, your whole life. My whole life, I wanted to be a gamer. I'm like, oh, So that for me, to be honest, KC, that for me was like, yeah, I mean, this is what we do for. That impact, that's the most important thing. Yes, we know what time is it on social media and who likes, who doesn't like that. We know what time is it with that. We don't care about that. We always work like 5 years ahead. So yeah, for us, it's just been beautiful to be the underdogs, man. Do as you please as you an underdog. Yeah. This is as as Nipsey will say, may his soul rest in peace. This is a marathon. And we need for the long haul.
Yes. Yes. That's a very good response, Gabriel. Your PR is much better than mine. Say, I would have been their flamethrowers, you know me. But again, I mean, that's what makes Ekasi Esports so great. What makes you guys so inspiring is because you guys, it's not about the outside really. Is you guys want that success, but you want it within your community. It's not a Gabriel and perfect institution. It's about bringing up the whole community, which is something I really respect. But now I will be a bit of a spicy guy here towards you guys specifically. Me from the outside perspective, when I see you guys doing a FIFA tournament and the way you guys do it, I was upset. I was like, listen, yeah, these guys are doing so much. But now, again, you guys have the right mentality. You do the work first. But I was like, the marketing needs to get pushed up a bit because it doesn't matter if you're doing the best job in the world if nobody can see it, right? And I think, like you say, this young guy's there. He's 13, 14, he's already following you guys on the social. The bigger you guys get, the more people will be inspiring, guys. More people will be inspiring. So just think about that on the marketing side. I'm not trying to give advice here. You all know more than me, but it is good to hear. It is good to hear.
Thanks a lot.
No, 100. Like I said, we have to up our game 100% in terms of our marketing. Like even though like we said, we don't care about them, but like we need to make the world needs to know that
Yes.
something like this exists because we get to become a platform where these guys from the community and these different like communities in South Africa, they can use us as a platform, to be exposed to the outside world. Because eventually we'd like to see our players, I'm sure every org wants to see their players competing internationally and all that. So we would like to see the gamers from our communities, jumping on board, competing on internationally or being seen at an international level. And for us to do that, we need to make sure we are about marketing. So yeah, most def 100%, we're gonna push on that, and it's one of the things that we have in the pipeline. We are just like working on that in the background. So like I said, it's always a work in progress. We're always striving to be better. Like what you see is not the final result. You're probably seeing like things that like we have like went past like 10 steps ago. So we're already like 10 steps ahead. So yeah, there's more things in the pipeline. There's always things in the pipeline.
For sure. Could you see? I can even further elaborate more, but why? Again, if I see this event and I see you guys, again, you guys are head down, you're working, doing the right thing. But why I still get upset is that, you see, if I look at your guys' stream, right, you all had 16 viewers on your FIFA stream. You guys' first ever FIFA stream. Those 16 viewers is probably a whole new demographic that we haven't seen in esports before because you all have different channels. So it's not a case of like, oh, you guys need to jack up and you need to do better, etc. Because you guys are already putting forth a premium product. You get what I'm saying, right? And like again, I'm compared to the Nodwin stream. I mean, Nodwin, our international company, etc. We're doing a phenomenal things there with the remote broadcast, India and South Africa. But stream-wise, the FIFA stream, if I watch the FIFA, how it comes across the panelists, the casters, etc., it's not an inferior product. It's the same. It's an A-list South African FIFA product, right? So I want it to be promoted in that way, if you get me.
100.
It's not a case of you need to do better. You guys are doing enough.
If you say so, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. But I'm sure you guys have much more things done and planned. So
100.
on that route, right? Plans for the future. Obviously, Rona happened this year. You had to make adjustments, run online FIFA tournaments, etc. But your guys' sort of vision board in your heads for 2021. Let's say, hopefully, the world calms down a little. What are some of the things you guys want to be implementing? And you could even extend this further. What did you like to see the scene as a whole change in terms of what we need to do going forward?
Go to the first one.
Oh, okay, so the first one was about our plans.
Yeah.
So for us, like the COVID situation, just like it hit everyone hard, and it made us realize that we need to utilize as many social platforms and online platforms to reach the people we want to, and we shouldn't just depend on hitting the ground. So you can expect more content from EE, more engaging content from EE in the future. especially in the year 2021. So we just want to drive, that inclusiveness. We just want to drive that engagement with the followers and with our audience, and just try to get as many people following the brand. So at least there's something. So when people get to the EE page or the channel, there's something for them to check out. Around gaming, esports, and stuff. We just want to make sure that everyone has a place, in the EE.
Yeah, and
so-
as well also to win the Masters next year. The boys are they've been great.
Oh yeah, the CS:GO boys.
CS:GO boys. They've been consistent. So most definitely, 2021 we're going for those Masters. And any tournament, CS:GO tournament out there next year, the boys are on fire. Coming, they bring it all home. Now, to answer your second question, right, with regard to what needs to be done in the industry,
in a nice way, not to like tell people and know better, and not the silly things I do. I'm just saying from a general perspective, we think that could help the industry.
Most definitely. I normally say it's not in the industry to start off, because there's like few people in it, so it's not in the industry for me per se. It should be an industry when it is inclusive of every demographic in the country. Then it should be an industry. It should be an industry when people that are part of it, they are starting to make a living out of it. It should be an industry. At this stage, it's pretty much the most expensive hobby I got myself into. So, but then what needs to be done better? I've been seeing what the other guys are doing, and I love it. Your Nibul, they pretty much kind of doing something different, which I like on the creative side. You also have like the Goliath gaming guys. Also, they've been also doing good in the scene just to get the scene to be out there. Being whether is someone doing an interview on CNBC, right? And they might even say that they are esports of South Africa. It's still fine, right? It's still fine. You have people like that, but we love what everybody else is doing. Oh, and also what Red Bull has been doing with Chavo. That's just been incredible. So there are good things that are happening in the industry, of course, and we love what everybody else is doing. I think going forward, you'll see more collaboration. Probably on my side, that's what I would like to see. Collaboration just across, whether it be tournaments, whether it be, whatever that may be to make the industry to be inclusive. I'm all for it. And of course, man, right now, sport is for the 2% of the population that is part of it. So we like to see the 80% of the rest of the population being part of it. We like to see that kid from a young boy, young girl from KwaZulu Natal, from Singa, playing games as a career. So we really want to see, for me personally, that's the end goal. That's the end goal. And if we get to achieve that, then we become in the industry. But for now, it's just Bruce. It's just Bruce doing their thing, figuring it out. It's not yet in the industry. We're not there yet. We're not
That's
there.
fair. Surprisingly, I think that would actually be a controversial statement because I think a lot of the way, credit to the esports industry, we do a lot of things very well if you see the way our streams are run, etc. So we put up the persona of be an industry. But like you say, at the end of the day, when you look at the numbers and you look at the demographics and you look at all these things, you realize at the end of the day, it is just a hobby. A lot of people are trying and really doing their best full time here, but like you say, there's a lot of gaps. Now, I want to ask you. There's two parts of the question. I could have asked a nice question, but obviously I'm going to go to the intense part of the question. Is there a
Oh,
level of pressure now from the Ekasi Esports point of view? Because for better or worse, the current set of tournament organizers come from a very specific demographic and background, and they catering to what they know, right? From like the old boys in the scene coming from the Dota, the Counter Strike worlds, where they still, like you see Metal State putting down 150,000 for Counter Strike, and in a way, rightfully so, because that's their community, that's how they came up, etc. That's what they know and what they understand. But the rest of the scene, in terms of catering to the 80%, I mean, no TO is really serious about that, in my opinion, in South Africa. So you guys obviously are a team owner and the Tech Fest and Expo runners, but now I see you guys are getting into the TO space. So you think there's now a pressure now on you guys that you have to do this and you have to do it right now because y'all are the only ones really like trying to do this?
I wouldn't say it's pressure because it's something that we want to do.
Okay.
We want to cater, for the masses.
Mm.
So I wouldn't say it's like, oh my god, we have to do this, and we have to cater for that.
Not
But like
pressure
it's
in
something
the
like,
sense that
yeah.
sorry, let me clarify. Not pressure in the sense that you have to do it, but pressure in the sense of, okay, if we do this and we fuck it up, we hit trouble because we the guys doing it. Uh,
Yeah, obviously there's that pressure. Like if someone that pressure, there's that pressure because you want to make sure that it's perfect, because you want to make sure it's A grade. It shouldn't be like, oh, it's for the masses, so
don't
it's gonna
forget,
be.
brother. Don't forget.
So we have to make sure that there's that pressure of making it, perfect all the time.
you know, see, the most beautiful thing about uh, my my partnership with our partnership with P on this thing is that uh, he's basically the visionary one, you know.
mm,
So for me, I'm like, bruh, let's hit them, hit them hard, because the thing is, Kaameel, and for us also is that 80% of what we do is basically our own resources. So that's what makes it more beautiful, you know. So really, as a first and foremost, in general, and this not related to esports, right? In general, as a black person in South Africa, right? Uh, your work is judged based on the quality output of it.
mm,
So I can say to you that, hey, I'm a tournament organizer or esports organizer. And it'd be like, no, you know. So the output of it, then the work basically speaks for itself. And as such speaks for itself, the work also speaks for you, right? Because my thing is, and this is my thing, is that if a 10-year-old boy from Katlehong, right, has access to the same kind of infrastructure that a 10-year-old boy from Sandton has, that boy from Katlehong can actually compete at the same level and even beat, in a way, whatever level of competition with beat his counterpart or her counterpart from Sandton, right? So that's what we basically still badly, right? It's not, and when you come to esports, and I want to be clear because I know the South African esports community, they are very sensitive. When you start touching issue about race, they blah 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 blah, go at them, saying we racist, blah 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 blah. You know, yeah, yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, Casey, that the and to be honest, again, I said the esports community in South Africa, they're more sensitive. I think whenever there is a case or an issue about race, you know, you don't see people defending themselves, and I don't have a problem with that, because for me it's like we didn't get into this esports industry to fight people or what, right? We work basically with everyone in the industry. I mean, you just look at our structure for our teams, you know. So for us, when it comes to this, we see beyond race, right? What's important for us is driving that inclusiveness, as Perfect said, and that's for us is the end goal, to drive that inclusiveness in esports. So my point really was that as Black people, that even after 3 years, we pretty much the only MGO that is Black owned, and that is doing what is doing at the level that is doing. Now, I normally say that we pretty much, you know, I'll say you could literally count the number of orgs or MGOs that are here in the country, and no doubt, I'll say that we are on the top 5, right, of the MGOs in the country, right? No doubt. When it comes to branding, no other MGO actually can even close when it comes to branding, right? We're killing it out there. So, as a Black-owned org or MGO, for us, we have to put in 10 times the work, right? And that's a beautiful part as well. As I said earlier on, we love being the underdogs.
Yes.
Right? That's a beautiful part as well. We love to be the underdogs. And being an underdogs also just inspires to do better every time.
For sure.
So yeah, so really, man, we're not trying to please everyone. That's most definitely, we can't please everyone, but those who know, right? And everyone else, no, times it.
You know, I respect you, Gabriel. Thank you for coming here and speaking honestly. Like, you know what the sad thing for anybody who has an issue with what Gabriel just said, nothing he said there is even remotely spicy, and he's 110% correct. But the fact that if you're listening to what he says and you think there's an issue, then you need to reevaluate like your understanding of the world right now, because it's a bit off. Like, I had the same thought here, right? Because everybody knows at the moment, I like to the past 2020. I mean, it was a rough year for everybody, a rough year for me. Like, I was hot as hell. The content I came out with, I was really going for it. I was going for that. I gave him when he spoke to me on the phone, was laughing. He's like, "Yo, man, you've been out here." Eh? But for me, I also realized this, a similar thing now. My perspective has changed recently. I'm back in the game. As you guys can see, I'm hosting the podcast and stuff again. It's because, you know, we can keep on shouting into the void. It will never change anything, because it's not a case of like, I'm not gonna say the rest of the scene doesn't care or whatever, because it's not about that. The fact of the matter is, if we're looking from a business perspective, there's equity in the scene. It's completely white owned, and everybody's not worried about the race and this and that. It's about protecting what you have. And again, this is the issue that I find, is that there's no, it's a very backwards mentality, in the sense that you're worried about protecting what you have when it's so small, when it should be about growth. When you think about targeting the 80% demographic, it's not about doing the favor if you like a white owner for the Black kids or whatever. Fuck that. Who gives a shit? We all in the business here. Let's be fucking real, right? It's about growing your business. So if y'all haven't seen that at this point, that this is about the rest of the industry, then there's no hope for y'all. It's too late. 2020, if you can't see it, then I give up. So as my decision, I'm like, I have to come here. I have to start doing my things again. I need to grow myself, because there's no other way we can see change actually. So again, I will say that, especially on Ekasi Esports, because if you guys failed, then I'll feel all alone. No, I'm kidding. But again, You guys do a
100,
great job. You guys do a great job, and like you say, the thing is, I think that's another
shout out.
aspect of what you were saying earlier, Gabe. Before we did the whole camera swap, I don't know. I edited this very nicely stream, but before we had to, the camera died, so that's why the webcam is a bit. Not, it looks like my webcam instead of a fancy professional camera like Perfect had it set up before. But like, it's that point of what are you saying? It's like there's an added pressure now, and again, for those of you who don't understand this or take an issue with what I'm saying, go for it. That's your prerogative. But like, there is that added pressure where you say you are scared, like we were saying off camera for those 2 seconds, where there's that where you're scared to now in your first tournament go and get sponsors and go do this and go do that, because when you fail, because there's only one Gabriel and Perfect and Ekasi Esports in the scene, it's a big hit, right? It's not just like, I mean, all the other TOs for the most part are doing the same things. It's the scene really doesn't take a hit because there's people to pick up that slack. But for you guys, again, that's kind of a little bit of pressure there. I don't know if you want to add a bit more on that. Perfect.
Yeah.
Gabriel's on fire right now. Perfect. You got to pick up some slack.
I was on being up to the second one, I guess.
That's
But
why
yeah,
you made it there
no,
twice.
yeah, because he was fired the first time, so he had to bring the fire back the second time. So yeah, I understand. I'm gonna try to bring that heat. But yeah, 100s, like it's very scary because, like I said, we're doing this ourselves. You know, it's our work. You know, it's our effort. It's it's money also going into this. There's money being spent. So if we fail at something, there's a whole lot of damage that we have to repair, and there's like so much pressure. Like I remember the night before the FIFA tournament, I was just like, I was nervous as hell. I couldn't sleep because I was afraid that if this doesn't go well, man, like it's just like so much pressure. It's just like so much pressure that goes into it, because we're the only ones. It just feels like us against the world sometimes, and yeah, we only got each other. And if you mess up, it's just like it feels like it's shy, But like, we that's why we just when Gab says hit them hard, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna hit him hard. I'm gonna hit him hard.
No, for sure. I'm laughing.
Yeah,
I mean, in a way, it's kind of rough, right? To think like, again, people want to talk about, oh, it's all fair. Esports is a fair, inclusive space. Like, guys, come on, man. It's like, I want to even make another comment to what Gabe said earlier. I know I'm cutting you guys off here, but it just hit my head here. Is that when they say like, you can't really say if you care about the scene completely. Remember that example you were giving about John in Santon and the guy from the Kasi from Soweto, right? You can't really say, like, statistically speaking, this is just facts. If you want the best in South Africa, then you have to open up the gates. You will never find the best of 100% of a country from a 2%, right? So if, like, again, this is why the me's of the world get upset, is that when you guys are claiming to be one way, that you really care and you're doing this for the scene, etc., but you're not actually bringing from the whole thing. It's not really about caring about the scene. You do care, but it's about that small scene that you have and you created and you solidified in. That's okay also. That is also okay. I'm going to say this. I mean, I flamed y'all a lot about this shit, but be honest about it. Like, we can see, and you guys need to see that as well. I don't know if that's spicy. I don't know if I'm making your guys' podcast a bit too spicy just with my things, but I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Can't stop me once I
But yeah,
start.
like for us, we just feel like we need to get out there more as the esports industry. Like for example, I like Young Savage from Goliath.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest talents we have in the esports industry
For sure.
and if he never found out about that VS gaming tournament, then he'd still be where he was before, and no one would know that we have such talent. And that's just only one person from the
Exactly.
there's more people. It's just like you said, like 2%, 98%. There's so much more that we haven't discovered in the rest of the country. So we just need to just open our gates and just attack the majority, because we don't know what lies there.
But also, let me just get in the KC. Now, P is 100% right on this. Another thing is that, and maybe that's why we do what we do, right? And that's why we don't really be out there and just complaining about this. We're on the ground. Another thing is that we can't really expect individuals that at the core of their heart they don't care about those people. See, and that's where the difference is. With us, at the core of our heart, we care about those young boys and girls, right? We care about their future, we care about their careers, we care about where they will be in the next 10, in the next 20 years. And esports provides that opportunity for many of them, right? Because we also have to be clear that esports is not just the aspect of competing, right? You've got what you're doing, which is brilliantly, right? And you have guys that are on the production side, you've got guys that are casting and all of that, you've got streamers and all of that. So it's broad.
Yes.
And as such as it is, let's look at the reality of things and just to really see the number of young people in our country that can fit into that and be part of that. And in return, now that's the most beautiful thing, in return that it grows the current ecosystem, because I'm not calling it an industry, right?
Yes.
It grows the ecosystem to become an industry, right? And when brands start to see that the ecosystem has grown, then everyone gets to benefit from it.
Exactly.
You name them, everyone can benefit from it. But as well, we will have to be fair, because it's not their responsibilities.
Yes.
To do that, right? Not their responsibility to do that. For many of them, it's their responsibility to safeguard what they've already built. Right? There's other sporting code. So it's not like this is new what is happening on esports. We see that in cricket, we see that in rugby, we see that in swimming. No. So we know what time is it, right? And since we know what time is it, we know what we have to do. And we can't be on the sidelines and be like, oh, check what they're doing. They're not being inclusive. No, doesn't work like that. It's like, oh,
I'm getting called out here.
Not an attack.
No, I'm being big.
Let's go out there, right? And let's bring other players that are not within this ecosystem, that probably have got deeper pockets. Maybe the individuals within the ecosystem, many of them, probably they're all going through their own life challenges, right? So we can't really put the burden on them.
Yes.
We know, right? So I think bringing more players, more diverse players that are pretty much not within the esports ecosystem, then that will change the landscape of what we call an ecosystem to an industry. And by saying that, I'm calling on everyone. I'm calling all these corporates. I'm calling on government. I'm pretty much calling on everyone that is at the core of their heart. They are concerned and they are passionate about the development of the next generation of young Black leaders within the gaming and esports industry. That's all I've got, man.
Respect, brother. Respect. I mean,
Right.
that's a high note. Giving me, I need to go back after this interview, get out my notebook and be like, "Yo, Gabriel was." It's like you're like a pastor now, giving us the sermon. You just straight. Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
What Gab's saying is like 100s. Like it's not anyone's responsibility. If you really care, you'll do it. Like the guys we have for the FIFA tournament, the casters. The casters we have, they've never casted a FIFA match before. It's their first time. The panelists we have, it's their first time. And we're just like, just jump on it. We'll never know. Just do it. And the guys are doing a fantastic job. Shout out to Gabza, shout out to Bones, shout out to Sunshine or Ratile. The guys are great, they're spectacular. And we're just like, guys, we can do this. We
Yeah.
show them clips of what other guys doing it, and then they're like, where's the mic? Where's the mic? Where's the camera? Lights, and everything. So because we care, we want to develop, we want to show. Because if we put them in, then their friends, their brothers, their younger brothers, their younger sisters, they're like, oh, if they could do it, why can't I?
Exactly.
And that's the thing about Ekasi Sports. We want to show that we can do it, and if we can do it, then you can do it. 100s, you see. So that's the thing. You never know till you try. So let's jump into it. Reach out and just like bring in more people. Yeah.
You guys are absolute gems to the community. I mean that from the bottom of Casey's fiery heart. Genuine gems. And like you say, I mean, this is where a lot of my frustration comes from also, is that I go and I watch your Ekasi Esports broadcast stream, right? Like you say, these guys have never casted this FIFA stuff before. I mean, nobody, so obviously we could have never heard of them because they've never done this stuff. But now I see them, I see the way they're casting, I see the level of swagger they have, the way they do their play-by-plays. I mean, casting is a pretty difficult thing to do, but they make it look so easy. They make it look so natural. We have so much talent available, but yet we're so stuck in this mindset of the old way. It's like there's a constant talk in the South African esports industry. They'll talk about this like the old boys club. There's another part that goes there first, but I won't bring that up. And that old boys mentality, it just holds the scene back. But like Gabriel's telling me, I can't be mad about the stuff. I must go there and do the work. That's there's nobody appreciating this interview more than me. But that's why I'm here again. That's why I'm here. These guys should have hoped they listened to me when I was. They think I'm mad, but I'm actually trying to help them with advice. But now, when I get big enough to do it, then I won't need them anymore. Oh man, top tier chat, guys. Go for it, Gabe.
Get this opportunity, if it wasn't for some of our incredible partners that we work with, right? From day one that they've been, with us, I don't think we'll have pretty much survived the second year of our operation as an organization, right? As I said that when we started this back in 2017, we actually, for better part, didn't think that would be 2 years or 3 years later doing a FIFA Invitational, broadcasting it. No. The only thing that we just wanted to see guys from Ekasi competing in esports. That's all.
Right.
That's all. And we pretty much seen that happening. And that happened because of the great partners that we have, right? And many of those partners, they stayed with us. Even they were like also themselves pretty much questioning the return on investment to an extent. We were like, yo, are you guys happy? Because we think that probably they might not renew next year, but they've been with us. So that, just want to say out clear that we appreciate. They know who they are, so we definitely appreciate that.
I don't know if you can link a bit to if you can shout out them on the thingy.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So yeah, so shout out. So Gab is aware. I'm like, big ups to AOC, man. Big ups to AOC, Chris, Syntech, Red Dragon,
Yeah, you see, kind of like the new Red Dragon headset. They're not that in the market. Just yeah,
but yeah, no, big ups to them, like 100%. They stuck with us, through the thick and thin. So, big ups to them. And any others that we might have left out, but shout outs, it's all up. Nexus, yeah, Tex,
Tex. Day one, gave us those nice pizzas that.
Oh, the Oreo milkshakes, man. We're gonna come back for the Oreo milkshakes.
Those are real good. I've had them myself.
Fire, man. They are fire.
And just to also talk about pretty much the Tech Fest, because actually the Tech Fest, the one kind of prepared us when it comes to handling this, handling brands and everything else, and understanding that it's not gonna be easy. We did the first check first. There were no brand sponsors, nothing. We did the second one, nothing around esports gaming. We did a third one. Yeah, they started to believe in basically the vision that we have. And right when we got them, we do the fourth one in 2020. Oh man, man, the rest is history. But we're coming back next year, 2021. Because we're getting calls, we're getting DMs and everything else. People in our community like, yo, where is the tech fest? We missed the tech fest. So most definitely,
Yes.
we're coming back with a tech fest in 2021. And I can promise you, Lee, it's gonna be bigger, it's gonna be better. And hey, boy,
I'm
it's
ready.
gonna be on fire.
I'm ready. And I can tell you
Yeah.
again, straight up perception. People need to learn. I can use myself for example. I don't need to point anywhere else. First year, second year, what did I say? I was like, yeah, guys, I'm gonna come, whatever. Then Rush came around. I was like, nah, guys, I'm getting work this side, etc. I can't do it. But now, again, I will say this: if Rush ever is on the same day as Tech Fest and I'm at Rush and not Tech Fest, never listen to a word I say again, because then I'm a fucking fraud, honestly. And I learned. I had to learn. And the perception in my head already is like so changed. It's so changed. And you remember, I don't know if you remember the conversation we had last year on this podcast, Gabriel, where Glenn was like, where I was like, bold prediction, Ekasi is going to be the biggest soon. And Glenn's like, no, it's not a bold prediction. That's how it's going to pan out. So I know you guys go through a lot of struggles. I mean, you guys shared a lot here. I mean, really personal stuff, like in terms of how you guys feel. But honestly, from an outsider's perspective, we've been worked with everybody, watching the scene grow as a whole and stuff. I genuinely think you guys will be the next big thing. So persevere, because I'm telling you, all the struggles today will get paid for in the future. I genuinely believe that. If that's not how it goes, then I don't know, dude. Casey quits the scene straight up.
Easy on the pressure there.
Nah, it's not. This is the thing. This is the thing. Like this is because, like you said, I think you did a good job earlier, Perfect, and you were trying to like you elaborated like about where that pressure comes from, and that's why I think anybody watching this podcast today could get the both perspective, right? Because I was questioning you guys first. Why aren't you marketing? Why aren't you this? Why aren't you that? But it's not a case of you guys forgot. There's reasons behind it. So I hope people watching this today could have learned and understand the psychology that is go from it being involved in the space from a different perspective, right? At the very base of things. So I think you guys have done that. I think if somebody's come to this podcast today and have not learned something, then man, I don't know what's wrong with you, because there were so many great things said today. So many great things said. You guys want to add any 1-2 things here before we close up? I mean, Gabriel ended on a lot of powerful things. Let's give people some time here.
No, I think that whoever that's not gonna learn anything from this podcast today, as you say, don't wait for a test season. Come back for a test season.
What's a hit of a get?
Gabe.
Oh man, yeah, man. For us, we love this, and we appreciate everyone that's out there that is showing support. The only thing that I can say from my side is that let's collaborate. We open, our doors are open. Everyone knows we are easily to be reached, and we love to grow the scene. We love to get it to where it needs to be in the industry. So that 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, myself and P can actually get a salary from this. So yeah, and get to develop the next generation of esports professionals in the country. So yeah, it's got to work.
Yeah.
That's a
big ups to our current
Go for it.
big ups to our current followers. We see your DMs. We try to respond to everybody. But yeah, like because they're the ones who are keeping us alive. They're the ones interacting. Big ups to the communities and people we're engaging with. Showing us love and all. So, because we do this for them, and it's great to see that they appreciate it. It warms up the heart, and it shows that we're not doing this for the heck of it. But yeah, shout out.
Awesome. Respect that message, Perfect Gabriel. The message you ended off with, that one I can definitely get behind. Collaborate for 2020. Now, let's see if I remember all my shout outs before I can close the podcast. It's been a while. Thank you all for watching this podcast. It's been our absolute pleasure to bring it to you. Follow us on Facebook at Esports Central ZA, on Twitter at Esports CNTRL, and at the World Wide Web at esportscentral.co.za. Thank you all for listening. Goodbye. Yes, I remembered.
Oh, yeah.